Hello, listeners. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever it is where you are and when you're listening to this, and welcome to the Leading with Integrity podcast. My guest today is an author, educator, coach, entrepreneur, former footballer, and author of the book 14 Days in Beijing. His name is Chancellor Jackson, and we're going to have a great conversation about his experiences in Beijing and other places, his various books and the stories that he's been telling throughout those, and then the lessons about leadership and management that he's learned from running 2.5 businesses.
Welcome to the Leading with Integrity podcast. Leadership talk for the modern manager. With your host, David Hatch.
Chancellor, thank you so much for taking the time out of your, I'm sure, busy day to join me on the podcast today. Much appreciated.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for having me, David. Blessings and balance to you. Blessings and balance to everyone that's tuning in right now. They the real MVPs. Shout out to them.
Yes, true enough. If we kick off, if you want to tell the listeners a bit about yourself and I guess your career journey and what's brought you to what you're doing today.
Yeah, so the name is Chancellor K. Jackson, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I played American football the vast majority of my life. So that definitely played a huge role into the developmental piece of my character, personality, characteristics, but overall, the spirit that you see in front of you. So I'm a true football player, in and out, you know what I'm saying, student athlete. I played all throughout high school, and I got to play in college as well, down at Stetson University, where I obtained my bachelor's degree in communication and media studies. After I graduated, I landed my first job teaching English to children in China. So that was a journey for sure. It wasn't anything I was expecting to do as far as a career, especially playing. I was going from football player to now teacher. I'm like, okay, that's two different ends of the spectrum. So it was a vibe, though. China was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. One of the best experiences I've ever had. I highly encourage everybody to travel abroad for sure. But if you can live abroad someplace else, hey, boy, it's life changing. It's game changing. You just learn a lot about life in general. You learn a lot about yourself, most importantly. But China was dope. People were absolutely amazing. Best customer service I've ever experienced. I'm talking about hands down. I enjoyed working with the kids, teaching. I knew that was going to be a process, and it was. But my job, they walked me through it. They ain't just throw me into the fire. And I was mainly working with kids as young as 3 years old, all the way up to 14. But mainly about 3 to 8 years old. So I'm mainly working with the babies, and all our lessons ain't nothing but games, essentially, just to keep them engaged. So class is always lit, you know what I'm saying? I had it piped up, you know what I'm saying? We're going to play games, we're going to learn, and I'm going to see who athletic at the same time. I'm going to spread these flashcards around, we're going to run, we're going to sprint, we're going to see who got agility, who can jump, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to see who athletic at the same time. So I enjoy working with the kids. Kids are kids no matter where you go. No matter what face of the earth you in, kids are kids. Bad as hell. But, you know what I'm saying? I enjoy working with the youth out there. Food, crazy. Authentic Chinese foods like no other. And it's good. It's healthy for you, too. Hey, get your hands on some authentic Chinese food. It's game changing, no cap. So I enjoyed the food. And then just exploring Beijing. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in a whole different world, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter what we're doing, everything is an adventure. The smallest thing, the most basic thing is going to the grocery store, going to the bank. Imagine trying to go to the bank in Beijing trying to pull out some money. You can't speak the language, you know what I'm saying? You're the only foreigner in this place, so everybody looking at you crazy. So it's like the littlest things you think of is an adventure and a half over there, just because it's just so different. But hey, yeah, I enjoyed every minute of China, meeting other foreigners, you know what I'm saying, living my best life. Then 6 months into it, I got locked up out there and did 14 days in the Beijing penitentiary. I was locked up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 15 men to one cell, 9 wooden beds. We had 3 soups a day. And literally all I had for those 14 days was one plastic bowl and one Tupperware bowl. Nobody knew I was locked up. No information was explained to me as far as how the process works, how the jail operates. You know what I'm saying? What's next to come? And it ain't like I can talk to these folks anyway. It's a huge language barrier. So it was communication whatsoever. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just here to tell you I did 14 days. And you'll get that as you read the book. Like, okay, we don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to see as we go. You know what I'm saying? We're going to learn as we go. So once I was released, came back to America. Well, I was deported from the country, so forced to come back to America. Now I'm back to square one all over again. Like, what's next? What we gonna do? How, you know what I'm saying? How we gonna bounce back from this? You know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? How, you know what I'm saying? It's a real test of your character and see how resilient you are. But I was like, you got experience teaching in a different country. Use that to your advantage. So I'm still in education. I just fell into coaching football and played it for so long. It only makes sense that I coach it. I started writing 14 Days in Beijing once I got back. And it took me 4 months to write 14 days, additional 6 months to get it ready for publishing. And when I released it, I was still on pre-sale. Actually, I was the #1 new bestseller in 3 different genres on Amazon. And just from there on, it's just wrote more books, coaching people, at-risk teens, so teens that got arrested in my county for drugs or doing hot stuff. We use 14 Days in Beijing as a part of our lessons to pull our life skills from. Coaching aspiring authors now, you know what I'm saying? So anybody out there that has an idea or concept for a story but don't know how to get it on paper, or you've written the whole story but don't know how to go about publishing it, tap in with your boy. I can walk you through either process, you know what I'm saying? Or both of them if need be. I own my own publishing company, so all my books are published through my publishing company as well, and my services ran through my publishing company. I'm a tutor at an elementary school, so working, and that's through my publishing company as well. I'm working with 3rd and 5th grade and English, writing, and mathematics. And I got a car rental business. You know what I'm saying? I got a little car rental service. I rent cars out on the side. So, yeah, man, it's been a journey for sure.
Wow, a lot of spinning plates there then.
No, for real.
Yeah.
No, for real. It's been a journey, boy.
Yeah.
Journey.
Yeah. Wow, what a lot to unpack. I mean, so let's start with the football,
Okay.
American football, because obviously that means something different in this country. In the States, I mean, football's big, isn't it? It is hyper competitive.
Yeah.
So how did you find kind of transitioning from this kind of world of super competitiveness into something like teaching where you've got to be really collaborative?
It was still it was really a competition still. Like, as an athlete, you're going to make a competition out of anything. That's going to motivate you to, you know what I'm saying, keep you going. So it's like I said, I got to unlearn and relearn this whole perspective, because at one point, I'm just walking into the classroom. It wasn't, as a student, I'm like, bro, all you got to do is just show up. That's it. Just show up to class, do the work, but you guaranteed at least a B. So it's like, it ain't like school is hard. You know what I'm saying? So I never really had to try hard in school. I was good at it. And it was really just because I was organized and just paid attention. You know what I'm saying? And I always did what I needed to do. So just to go from that aspect of not really having to put forth a lot of effort in the classroom. So now, okay, I got to conduct the classroom and manage the classroom. And it's about 20-some, 30 kids in here. Hey, boy. And it's like, I'm so chill. So it's still a process. I'm still struggling with managing classes. Like, as far as behavior, I'm just so laid back. I'm so chill. But I'm not going to raise my voice. I ain't finna do none of that. You know what I'm saying? You can just leave. That's the case. You know what I'm saying? But it's still a process. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just running the classroom and having to be that authoritative figure. Some people get a little bit of taste of power and they go to their head and they abuse it. Me, I'm just like, hey man, let's work together. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all do what y'all need to do. I'm doing what I need to do, and we can walk out of here at the end of the day. It's only it's a team effort. You know what I'm saying? Let's work together so we can do what we need to do. But it's still a process though. It's still a process. You know what I'm saying? But it's still, you learn a lot of skills at the same time, monitoring these kids and you evaluating them constantly. You know what I'm saying? And it's based off of your preparation and how much effort and energy you're putting into the lessons that you got to teach. And hopefully they're conscious enough to digest everything that you are teaching. But it ain't the student's fault if the student can't get it. You know what I'm saying? It's the teacher that needs to reevaluate themselves. For sure.
Because that's the teacher's job, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Exactly,
And I think, you've got it. I think you've hit the nail on the head in terms of the right way to teach. I mean, certainly from my perspective, my experience, when you think back to kind of the teachers you had at school, the ones that kind of lose their mind and raise their voice and throw textbooks around the classroom and things, those are the ones that you learn the least from. It's the ones who are kind of calm and they walk you through it, and if there's behavioural issues, they keep that calm, and again they just kind of slowly but surely it's a much better way to teach, I think.
If anything, you can have control of your classroom just because they fear you. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean they learning. You know what I'm saying? They just know how to come in here and be quiet. For sure.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. You've written a book then on what I guess is it's pretty clearly a pretty challenging and traumatic experience that you had in China, which must have been such a shame as well, coming at the end of a trip that you were enjoying so much before that. How did you kind of overcome that challenge? How did you get through those 14 days? And what were the biggest lessons you took from that?
Really, just accountability. Accountability is what, and faith, and you know what I'm saying, knowing I was going to be good. Like when the cops was on me and they threw me in the police van. No, we got to the first precinct. Of course, what I got locked up for was 1.4 grams of cannabis. So I just got done pre-gaming. I was finna get ready to leave the house to go to an event to go meet with friends. And these folks, 12 just came knocking on my door randomly. Now they've done it prior to this event. They pulled up to my apartment before, just randomly. So I'm like, okay, this is something that they do regularly. So I'm thinking it's just another typical routine. I ain't thinking much of it. But now they was on a whole different type of time. So they drug tested me right there in my apartment on the spot. You know what I'm saying? I failed the drug test. Yeah, it's different in China. So I failed the drug test, of course. Then they found the rest of my stash, and then they confiscated everything, and they arrested me. But while I'm in the first precinct, I'm sitting there. I'm still high, but I'm just sitting there reflecting on everything that's just transpired, and I'm sitting there telling myself, like, hey, boy, we don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows this is happening. And like we can, from our culture, I've been taught not to talk to y'all, talk to the police. I'm not even supposed to have no conversation with y'all. So let's directly spoken to, my mouth is closed. But it ain't like we can have a full in-depth conversation anyway. So it's quiet. So I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to learn as I go. But I know I'm going to be good when it's all said and done. I said, take note of every minor detail because it's going to be a great story to tell once you're out of this predicament. And most importantly, enjoy this high one last time because we don't know what's going to happen to us, boy. I'm telling you. But, so it's just accountability. You know what I'm saying? I had nobody to blame for me being in that predicament. It wasn't like it was a set of just different misfortunate events that had transpired. And now I'm in this situation, and you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you was out here wilding, you was doing something you shouldn't have been doing. So now that this shit has hit the fan, hey, it is what it is. Hey, we got to take this to the chin. Now, moving forward, what needs to happen for us to get on up out of here? You know what I'm saying? That's just how my mind is working. But I'm still like, damn, this shit's real. Like, I'm in here. It's still weighing heavy on me, but it's like, hey, man, accountability, and just having faith that, hey, we're going to be good. Just got to take it step by step. Control what we can control. A lot is out of our control right now. So ain't no point in stressing about what we can't control. You know what I'm saying? I'll be in it going crazy then. So, just faith and being strong-minded and accountable, most importantly.
Yes, I mean, I did go to Beijing myself a few years back for a very flying visit. I was there a few days.
For sure.
It's an amazing city. I mean, there's so much history there and so much to see. And unfortunately, I was working, so I didn't get to see very much of it. But I I mean, the striking difference for me was the airport. You compare that to airports in like Western countries, where most of the time the security personnel are, depending on the country, let's say not as diligent as that I thought they were in Beijing. Everyone got their bags sort of personally searched. There was no real X-ray machines and all that kind of thing. It is such a different culture, though, isn't it?
Man, that's one thing about the Chinese is it's a communist country. So with that being said, like they just move with order and discipline, like militant. They move militant. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like we got shit set in place, and it's set in place. And we ain't changing it for nobody. You got to come up here. You coming up here? It's either you get down or you lay down. It's on that type of time. We ain't even there. You get down or lay down. So, but you know what I'm saying? You over there and you respect it, and you gonna have the time of your life. No cap. You had the time of your life.
Yeah, and once you get through that part of it, I guess, most of it's just people, isn't it? People are people wherever you go. It's language barriers notwithstanding.
You ain't going, But the technology is so advanced, you really don't need to know the language indefinitely. You know a little bit, and I'm talking about a little bit, you good. For everything else, man, you pull out your Google Translate or some translator app, you can speak data, you can speak directly into it, and it'll translate it for you. So you really ain't even... It was still easy to get around and work your one. With that being said, for sure.
Yeah. And so from writing a book about that, you then went on to writing a completely different book. I assume it was in this order. I might be wrong. It might be the other way around. And this one's about romance and kind of emotional intelligence and totally different end of the spectrum. So
yeah. So
how did you go from one to the other?
It was because it's all one long story. All 3 books is telling one long story, and it was a number of different things that motivated the romance saga. One of the first ones was the same person that put the bug in my ear to write 14 Days in Beijing. It was one of my friends I grew up with. He was a published author before we graduated high school in 2014. So he was like, "Hey, bro, you should write a book about your experience." I'm like, "Damn, that is a good ass idea." I don't even know where to start, but that's because I'm like the whole time I'm like, bro, I want to do something with this story. I just don't know how or what I want to do with it, how I want to share it. So once he said to write a book, I'm like, genius. So he was the same person, like, "Hey, bro, you should write the romance saga." Once 14 Days going crazy, I'm like, I don't even know. I ain't really in the headspace to, you know what I'm saying, go back down that lane and, you know what I'm saying, relive all of that. And another factor was a lot of women that was reading 14 Days in Beijing. They was like, okay, you talk about this girlfriend all throughout the book, you know what I'm saying? Then you get out of jail, and that's the end of it. So what happened with you and her, how that story played out, they want to, you know what I'm saying? They want to know the tea on that. So that was another factor. But what sold me, it was months later, I came across the statistics of the best-selling genres. And when I saw romance at the top, there was no ifs, ands, buts about it after that. I was like, oh, yeah, green light. That's I'm like, man, these folks should say that from the jump. I would have wrote this thing. So that's what really, really inspired it. But it's all telling one long story. So 14 Days in Beijing is book 1. You got You Love, You Learn, book 2. But You Love, You Learn, it's really the prequel. You know what I'm saying? So it really takes place with me in college, where me and her first met, and pretty much the first year of our relationship. And then Real Love Never Dies, book 3, connects my second year of college. It also touches on a little bit of what I was doing in China prior to getting locked up, which is interesting because in 14 days, it's just me getting arrested and then I'm out. That's it. So you get a taste for what China was like beforehand. And then, of course, what happened those post 14 days once I got out and came back to America and all of that. So it's just all one long story. All 3 books telling one long story. Yeah,
that makes sense then. I understand. So we'll call it a business decision then, shall we?
Oh, yeah. It was always, but I ain't going to sit here and portray this ultimate poison like I've had this thing figured out. Yeah. No, I just been, you know what I'm saying? I had an idea and we just was going with the flow, you know what I'm saying? And working on one with everything just step by step, you know what I'm saying? And it played out perfectly. It played out perfectly.
You've got two businesses then, I guess? The publishing company, the car rental on the side. I mean, is teaching a third business or?
Well, just what I'm doing right now, I'm just tutoring. So I guess you could throw that in there for sure.
Yeah. Should we say 2.5 then? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
which part of those 2.5 businesses, which part of that are you most proud of?
Collect Publications. Everything, really honest, bro, everything I'm doing right now, you couldn't have told me I was going to be doing once football came to the end. I had no clue. Football came to the end in 2017. I was just like, damn, boy, what's next? Like, what do you want to do? What do you enjoy doing? You know what I'm saying? What do you aspire to be? What do you want out of life? What's your purpose? Who are you? I gotta re-identify, redefine myself all over again. You know what I'm saying? Got to find a whole new identity. So it took all of that. It took all of that. You know what I'm saying? Going to China, getting locked up. You know what I'm saying? Coming back home, and it took all of that for me to be in the position I am now. So it's definitely proud of Collect Publications to create something, turn a negative into a positive, put it on paper, turn it into something, you put it out into the world, and see the feedback it got, especially the original version of 14 Days Machine. I originally released the whole book as a series of short stories. So I broke it up into 5 small books. And I released it all throughout 2020. So book 1 was April 4th, 2020. Book 2 came out May, and then book 3 August. And you know what I'm saying? Just wrote it out like that. But my very first book 1, part 1 was number like 40-some pages. And that's my bestseller. 40-some pages. Don't rank number 1 multiple times.
Yeah. Wow.
40 pages, yeah.
Quality over quantity, though, definitely.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So it was just like, hey, well, it was just amazing because, like, where I'm from, we don't own a lot of things. We don't have a lot of things with our name on it. You know what I mean? There's no real ownership from, you know what I'm saying, my community. So, but I feel like my generation is the generation to make that shift. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to be like our parents doing all that working for 40 years just to get a result. No, we not doing all of that. So we rather be independent. You create our own lane and create heaven on earth right now versus trying to do it the way our parents done did it and grandparents done did it, because clearly that shit don't work. So we got to switch something up. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like my generation is that generation to shift the paradigm and get us back onto just owning everything, changing the game for the generations to come.
And doing things that, you believe in and that have a purpose that you can get behind and that sort of thing. I think that's a global theme, isn't it, at this point?
I mean, it took everything happens for a reason. It took our parents and our grandparents going through, okay, I just got to do what I need to do. What I want to do or what I aspire to do, what's truly in my heart, I'm going to just do what I have to do just for the betterment of my tribe. And with them doing that, making that sacrifice, it put us in a position to, well, I really want to do this. I'm passionate about this. So I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put everything I got into this versus, I'm just going to do what I need to do to get by and make my little change and, you know what I'm saying, work my X amount of years so I can get my retirement fund and I can retire at 60, 70 years old. And we in the position to chase our dreams and chase whatever it is that we aspire to be. So just shout out to the ancestors and the ones that came before us and the foundation that they laid for us to, you know what I'm saying, build on top of it, for sure.
We're all very fortunate in our generation to be able to make those kind of decisions and choose to do something or not do something because we do or don't like it or believe in it or
and the universe and the internet has changed the game. Internet has empowered everybody. It's like the gold rush back in the day, you know what I'm saying, when everybody in America was trying to migrate west to get in on the gold. This is what this internet is. This internet has empowered it. The internet has changed people's lives. Social media has changed people's lives in the span of a year, like a couple months. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, this thing it can be as big as you want to make it and go as far as you want to take it.
Yeah, I wonder what the stats on the ROI on gold mining versus getting on the internet is. I wonder how they compare. Man, it'd be very interesting to know.
Nah, facts. That does sound like a good study. No cap. That sounds like a good study. No cap.
Yeah,
I feel like the internet is this game changer. Well, Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like maybe there's more kind of, well, there's inherent value to gold to start with, whereas with the internet, I don't think that's necessarily true.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's harder to get your hands on gold. Internet, as long as you got access. Oh yeah, you got all control and freedom to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Create whatever. So
yeah, you're right. Access is the key word there, isn't it? I think because with gold, you might, if you find it, you're kind of guaranteed to get rich. But it's that getting access to it in the first place.
Exactly. You got. Oh man, that's work right there now.
Yeah. Whereas the internet's probably the other way around, isn't it? Like it's so easy to get to it, but it's finding the value in it is the trick.
It's funny. You can have a whole business, sell it, a whole retail store, and don't have an actual physical place. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just flipping product. Ain't even got to touch it. Get your hands on it. You just middlemaning. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, internet has changed the game. Boy. Changed the game. That's why everything is moving towards just the digital age. All these phones getting more and more advanced, boy. Social media is not even social media no more. Social media is Instagram has turned into, oh man, it's crazy. You could buy stuff off Instagram now. Like they have stores on Instagram. So it's number of advertisements. You're gonna see ads left and right. We watch people's stories. You just scrolling. You like it's crazy. YouTube. Every video you click on, you're gonna have to watch an ad. You might have the option to skip it, or that company pays some big bucks. No, you ain't gonna be skip. You're gonna have to sit there and watch the whole thing until they, you know what I'm saying, they ad run up. So it's like, man, it's crazy, man. The digital age is a game changer.
Yeah. It's an interesting period, isn't it? Especially the last few years where we've kind of seen these. They spent maybe 5 or 10 years sort of establishing themselves as something that everyone was on. So Facebook's the classic example, isn't it? And then they started ramping up. Right now, everyone's dependent on it. We're going to force adverts down their throat every time they come on the platform. Mm-hmm. It's really canny business, actually. In hindsight, I wish I'd thought of it. But yeah, yeah. Maybe the real answer is to be selling gold on the internet. There we go. Then we combine the two.
Yeah. I like the way you think, my boy. I like the way you think.
Yeah, we just got to go and find some first. Anyway.
No, for real. Go crazy after that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk then about your work coaching authors. How do you work with other authors? How do you, what's your process?
So just pretty much like it depends on where they at with it. You know what I'm saying? If they very, very step one, like I just got this idea. Okay, well, let's create an outline. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna create an outline, and then from there, now we're just gonna fill in the outline. And I'm gonna make sure that we set the outline up. And it really depends on the type of story you want to write. Honestly, that's what it starts with. If you want to write fiction or nonfiction. Now, if you want to write fiction, that's going to be challenging. I'm gonna let you know that right now. Because you got to create everything. There's a lot of development that goes within creating one of those stories, and a lot of development as far as the characters. You know what I'm saying? You got to create all of that. But if it's nonfiction, it's going to be a breeze. It's going to be a breeze just because you're telling a true story. You're not making anything up. Nothing's fabricated. You can fabricate it if you want to, but you know what I'm saying? It's going to be easier getting the story on paper just because you're telling a true story of what happened. So when it's a nonfiction book, okay, let's just, you know what I'm saying, what happened from beginning to end. And we're going to set the outline up like that. And once you start filling it in, you'll catch a flow for how you want to go about telling the story. And then once you finish writing it, I go through, do the first set of revisions. You correct them. I'll go through it again. I'm gonna go through it about 4 or 5 times for sure. You got to, you gotta look at that thing faithfully, because you're gonna continue to catch more and more, just small things, because you want to be as perfect as possible. So once we get it perfected, like written, perfected, okay, you got to get the cover done. Now that depends on what the book is about. You can, you know what I'm saying, you can get as creative. Now this is when it gets fun, because with the stories already written, now you got to come up, okay, what do you want to call this chapter? You know what I'm saying? Based on how this chapter goes, I'll call this chapter this. It's fun now, because like, okay, now you're getting really creative. I want to call the book this, you know what I'm saying? Now you get fully creative. Okay, I want to cover the portray it. I want to capture this, and I want this little bit of detail. You can get as creative. This one is all fun and games here. Come up with a book description. You got to get your keywords. So like typical words that people would type in on Amazon when they search for books. So you want to make sure you get the best keywords geared towards your genre that your book is in. Just analytics. You want everything to be smooth. And then, now it's like, depending on how you want to go about publishing it, I'm all about independency and taking the independent route. So I'm going to tell you to you can go through Amazon, you can go through Barnes & Noble. There's a bunch of other platforms that you can publish your books independently. We can choose on one with that. And then after that, it's just setting up the account and then submitting everything after that. You know what I mean? But then it's the marketing. So the hardest parts of the whole process, actually getting the story done, getting it written and then finished and perfected. That's one of the tedious parts. And then on the back end, marketing it. That's going to be the two biggest workloads. Everything else between fun and game, for sure. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just here to walk you through the process and show you how simple it is. It's not nothing too crazy. I had one client last month. He released his book. It's titled The Fatherless Child by Anthony McKinney. It's pretty much a memoir of him growing up and his experience of being molested before the age of 10, you know what I'm saying, by kids themselves, you know what I'm saying? So, and just how all of that has affected him, of course, at that young age, and how it transpired to him to being who he is today. So it's a very powerful read, and it was ranked the #1 new bestseller in 2 different genres. I got a formula for sure. And I had it work for one person. So I can work with other people right now. They just, whenever they books drop, it's really up to them because they dragging their feet. So, you know what I'm saying? You want to fly through it, we can get it done. You know what I'm saying? We can get it done. It's all up to you how fast we get it done, though. So, that's just that whole process right there.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. And where do you sit on the paper versus Kindle debates?
Oh, you want to miss out on any market. You know what I'm saying? You got folks that are more e-readers. They like the e-books. So, you know what I'm saying? They don't really, and the e-books are cheaper. They rather just get the e-book. You got some folks, I don't really like looking at a screen trying to read. I need to have it in my hand. I like to have the physical thing in my hand. So you got that market as well. And you got 2 different physicals. You got the paperback, you got the hardcover. Some people they'll go for the paperback because it's cheaper. Some like, nah, but I need that hardcover. I need that. You know what I'm saying? I need that hard. So they want that. You got some people, bro, I don't even like to read. But if this was an audiobook, I slide it. You know what I'm saying? I listen to it for sure. So it's like, we got to attack every market. We can't negate no market. None. You need it all, my boy. Need it all.
Interesting. Let's talk about leadership and management then.
For sure.
So, I mean, everything you've done, so from like the football to the teaching to running your own businesses, what are the biggest leadership and management lessons that you've learned so far?
Lead by example. Definitely your actions and your work, you know what I'm saying, that you've done is proof, you know what I'm saying, of how valid whatever it is that you're trying to push onto other people. With coaching football, it's like, okay, I can tell like y'all young boys, all y'all want to play. Who I want to play college football? Raise your hand. Who want to play Division I football? Well, I got that. I done that. You know what I'm saying? So I have experience and I have knowledge and game that I can pass down to y'all, and skill sets that I can teach y'all. At least as far as just work ethic and grinding, putting in extra work and doing little things a little bit better, just to make sure that if that's your dream and it's something that you want to do, you can make sure it's attainable. You know what I'm saying? You can definitely do it. So just passing down all the knowledge and wisdom that I have to these youth and to just any peers that I work with, as far as authors and stuff like that. I'm just here to hustle and motivate, but also show you your potential, who you are, help you learn who you are, find your purpose, and align you with the path you should be on. Whatever path it is that you're, you know what I'm saying, you're trying to go down. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make sure we do it 110%. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is you want to do, be you, everybody has experience a teacher that they ain't like, a coach that they ain't like, or somebody that of an authoritative figure that didn't really go about handling that power well. Everybody has experienced someone like that. So don't be that person. Don't be that person. Whoever that was in your life, they're like, they just, man, you know what I'm saying? Don't really sit well with you. Don't be them. That's what I try to do. Don't be them coaches that I had that just shouldn't have been coaching, the teachers that shouldn't have been teaching, the individuals that shouldn't be in these positions. You're supposed to be here for the kids and put the kids first and make sure that you're doing right by them. If you in it for you, then you don't need to be in the field. It's a social service, you know what I'm saying? It's bigger than you. So you can't be selfish and try to work with other people. Nah, you need to try to find you a gig on the internet selling something so you ain't got to deal with nobody, you know what I'm saying, on that type of time. But yeah, man, don't be people that you experienced in your journey that you didn't enjoy.
Funny you should say that. I say it quite a lot, but nearly everyone I speak to, not just podcast guests, but nearly everyone I talk to, they've all got a story about that terrible manager. You know, the guy made them quit their job or made them, you know, break down crying at work or have to leave because of stress or, you know, whatever else. You know, there's much more horrible examples, I'm sure. We'll talk about those.
Honestly, this person dictates your athletic career, has that control in their hand, depending on if you, not everybody can just up and transfer schools or, you know what I'm saying, afford to go to all these trainings and work with all these trainers and go to all these camps so they can get exposure. Not everybody can do that. So it's like, only thing I got is, man, it's school. You know what I'm saying? And this program, this football program, and what I put forth into it. And you put your all into it. And your coach not even try to help you get to the next level. Yeah, it's definitely can't be what I experienced. Can't be that. Because it affects kids are impressionable. They number sponges. And everything that they go through up until they're 18 years old is a piece of foundation that they're laying. So it's like when you want kids to look back, you know what I'm saying, on just their experience growing up in school, you want to be one of those individuals that made a huge impact on their lives. And it's nothing but a deep reverence and appreciation for everything that you've done. You know what I'm saying? And just who you are as an individual. And just being a part of their journey for showing a lot. Because a lot of people ain't got positive role models in their lives. You know, they got mamas ain't got daddies. You know what I'm saying? So you can be that for a lot of kids, especially inner city kids. Come on, man. A lot of these kids living fast lives, fast, and they have to. It ain't even like, it's not even their fault. It's just based on their circumstance. So just being that outlet for some of these folks, because if not, man, people crash out. It's
an awesome responsibility, isn't it? I think, you know, and it, you know, later in life in the workplace as well. You know, when you're managing and leading people, it's the same principle. Maybe less impact, you know, less potential for it to go wrong and ruin the rest of their lives, but you're still holding people's careers in your hands effectively a lot of the time. Yeah, I think a lot of managers need to do more to kind of see that as what it is, which is a responsibility and not a kind of privilege or right or whatever else you want to call it.
Right. How you keep your lights on.
What then, if you had to pick an example, what would be the best piece of leadership that you've ever seen?
I have to say defensive coordinator in college. But also he was our position coach as well. Just coming from a winning background as far as sports, every program he'd been a part of, it was a winning program. So it's a standard set in those places. So of course, with Stetson being pretty much a new program, essentially, we have to create a whole new culture and a whole new, you know what I'm saying? We had to create everything. So from the very jump, just everything he's instilled from his background as far as what it takes to be a winner, he made sure that he emphasized that to us and made sure that we worked accordingly to meet those requirements. And we were a very successful defense. We were definitely the backbone of the team, for sure. We were the backbone of the team. So I definitely say Coach Young Brian Young. Shout out to Coach Young. A lot of the principals I done worked for. One at the high school I coach at. He's very, very hands-on, very, very supportive. He's a great dude, man. Great, great, great spirit. He's for the community. He's for the kids. Like, he's doing what he's fulfilling his purpose. You tell somebody that's fulfilling their purpose versus just somebody that's working a job. Yeah, he's fulfilling his purpose for sure. And the elementary school that I work at, that principal, she's changing. Man, the test scores is bad in that school. So she's working to flip that thing. You know what I'm saying? And she's all about it. She's for the kids. You know what I'm saying? She's for the kids. So I feel like those two definitely. Oh, yeah, I got some administrators from high school. Dr. DeVoe, Dr. Boone. Yeah, these are, and then of course, coaches, Coach Smitty from high school, definitely a great leader. Yeah, I had some great leaders. I was fortunate to be submerged around some great leaders. Even when I was in 5th grade, we had one of the teachers' fathers was a part of a fraternity, Black fraternity. So him and some of his frat brothers would come teach us just life skills, how to tie ties and how to behave yourself, conduct yourself as a man, and etiquette, you know what I'm saying? Just teaching us, you know what I'm saying, grooming us to be great men. Even the community I grew up in, the neighborhood I grew up in, it was people that went off and established careers, and now they done came back and they started nonprofits to work with all the kids in the neighborhood, to help us with our homework after school and teach us history and just, you know what I'm saying, just make sure that we on a straight path. So I had a lot of guidance just based on playing sports and, you know what I'm saying, those that are around me. So yeah, I got a lot of different leaders that I can tip my hat off to for sure. And definitely shaped me into being the individual that I am. I'm up to, for sure.
Yeah. Just nearly missed your chance, though. You got that in just in case. Yeah. No, I mean, it sounds like you've been incredibly fortunate, though, and there's a lot of examples there.
Yeah. It's been a blessing. That's for sure.
Yeah. A slightly less positive direction. What do you think is the biggest mistake that a leader can make? I say it's less positive, but actually it is positive because we're looking for the lesson, so we don't make the same mistakes, aren't we?
Yeah, for sure. Continuing to do the same shit, expecting different results, not holding on, resisting change. Change is inevitable. Look at the past couple years. Change is inevitable. You know what I'm saying? So just got to roll with the punches. Go with the flow and still work your one. You know what I'm saying? Knowing your grind going to have to diversify because things is constantly changing. So you got to make adjustments, just like football, any sport. You know what I'm saying? You play one half. All right, and now you got a halftime, so we can make our adjustments, talk about what we did the first half, so we don't try to make the same mistakes and have a better second half. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that. You know what I mean? Just on that aspect. And also, you got to know when to let somebody else take the lead. You don't know it all. Sometimes you won't have to be the student. You don't have to be the follower sometimes. You know what I'm saying? For sure. That's great signs of a great leader. You know what I'm saying? Knowing when to be the student and work with his team or his community or whatever. It's iron sharpening iron. You know what I'm saying? We all we got, we all we need. We move as a unit. You know what I'm saying? We for each other. We're a tribe.
Yeah. I don't hear that one very often. And I think you're right. I mean, that's one of the most powerful things a leader can do, isn't it? Is not have to be the one at the front all the time. Recognizing when their skill set isn't the right fit for this situation and saying, hey, Steve, Bob, Jim, whoever, you're better at this, you do it.
That's just like a dictatorship. Then you want to control everything.
No, it's really, really good example. Yeah. Well, we're almost running out of questions. Okay, right. Next one then. So what advice would you have to offer to a new business owner or perhaps a new coach as they start to embark on kind of their own business journey?
It's going to be a marathon. Like I said, I ain't going to say and portray this ultimate poise like I've had it all figured out. Nah, I battled every emotion. From once football ended and finding myself. It's been a journey. I battled every emotion behind just trying to find myself. And I've found myself. And it's still a marathon. Still, now I got to lay down the foundation and now build on top of that foundation. So it's going to be a journey. It ain't going to happen overnight. So you looking for some quick results, man, you might need to reconsider, because it's going to be a process for sure. But only distinction quality between me and whoever else is going through this, already went through it or is about to go through it, is that you're not going to quit. Not going to quit. You're going to take the stand. I'm willing to die behind what I'm getting after right now. So man, from that point on, man, the universe is going to take heed to it. And it's going to align it for sure. But definitely, it's going to be a marathon. Just know that. It's going to be a marathon. It ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to happen overnight. I say it's worth it. I won't say it's fair.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's definitely, it's grind. Again, it's something you've got to kind of be aware of and keep it in your head all the time, because there's so many people out there who start a business expecting a quick win and expecting they'll be a millionaire by next week, and then when that doesn't happen, they start to fall apart, and it's such a shame. And it's just expectations, isn't it? That's all it is. It's got to be realistic.
That's why you write it down, you know what I'm saying? Make a plan. Sometimes you're going to have to freestyle. You're going to have to, you know what I'm saying, do it on the fly, you know what I'm saying? But if you got a plan, for sure, that's going to definitely help. Go ahead and map out a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Reach the goal, cross it off the list.
Yeah, always be ready to change the plan. I mean, it's like what you were saying earlier about change. Change is the only constant. So be ready for your plan to change as well.
On me, you're going to have to adjust it for sure. You're going to have to. Diversify.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I can't think of a single person I went to school with who's ended up doing what they thought they were going to do when they were at school. And that's life, that's career. You never end up where you thought you would.
I didn't even know what I wanted to do when I went into school. Them folks said, I walked in, I went to a visit, like a little academic visit. I was still a senior in high school. They said, "What do you want to major in?" I said, "What you talking about?" I'm so serious. I'm like, "What is that?" They're like, "What do you want to study?" I'm like, "Oh, man, I'm here to play football. I don't know. Communication. I'll take that. Yeah, I'll go with that one." That's how I chose my major. But yeah, it ended up being perfect for me.
Yeah, worked out in the end, definitely.
So it's like, definitely have your plan, man. Don't be in there freestyling. For sure.
Leadership Heroes.
Well, we've reached the last question, and this is always my favourite one. I ask everyone this question. So it's called Leadership Heroes. Mm. The question is, if you had to pick one person who's, alive or dead, past, present, real or fictitious, if you're feeling a bit crazy, who, in your opinion, would perfectly embody leadership, who would that be and why?
Nipsey Hussle. And Nipsey Hussle is a rapper from LA, California. Serial entrepreneur. Like he had his hands dipped in everything. But you know what I'm saying? He's a game banker, rolling 60 script, you know what I'm saying, from the South Central LA. Fresh out of jail in 2008, he realized I need to make change I just want better for myself. So I know my potential. I see the God in me, and I'm going to create the reality that I want for myself. I'm fresh out of jail. I ain't got nothing to lose. So I'm gonna do it and start off with his music and clothes and grew from there. You know what I'm saying? Multiple businesses, owns multiple restaurants out there, like multiple franchises, got his own fat burgers and different food chains and stuff like that. Invented the first smart store, rolling 60 script, yeah. Invented his first smart store. Really turned his whole Crenshaw and Slauson into a tourist attraction. People go to LA, you're gonna go to Venice Beach, you're gonna go to Hollywood Boulevard. But now it's like, you hip, you know who Nipsey Hussle is, you gotta pull up to Crenshaw and Slauson now just to see where the marathon store is and see all the murals and stuff. He passed away in 2019. So I definitely say he was an embodiment of leadership because he was about his community. He put a lot of money back into the community. He created jobs in the community. And he died in his community. He died in his community. And his storefront that he owned and the plaza that he used to sell his shirts in front of, he ended up going back and buying the plaza. So it just hustling and motivating and really showed people, especially people from his community, like, man, when you put your mind to something, look what you can accomplish. And it took him 10 years to do it, from 2008, when he was fresh out of jail, 2018, when he finally catapulted. Took him 10 years. That's why he called this thing the marathon. That's where I get the marathon from. Everything I've been quoting, that's all Nipsey, for sure. You know what I mean? And with that being said, I want to leave y'all with this message from Nipsey. And it's long-winded, running through this life like it was mine. Never settling, but setting every goal high. 1,000 burpees on the path to my own self-destruction or success. But what's a mistake without the lesson? You see, the best teacher in life is your own experience. None of us know who we are until we fail. They say every person is defined by their reaction to any given situation. Well, who would you want to define you? Someone else or yourself? Whatever you choose to do, homie, give your heart to it. Stay strong.
Yeah, wow. I can't argue with that. Certainly. Yeah, I mean, what a wonderful example, though. And being able to turn his life around in that way and then have such a positive impact on his community as well. I mean, I think that's what any leader really aspires to do. So, yeah, great choice. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, that's been a lovely chat. Really enjoyed that. I think at the end, what I always do as well is just give the guest a chance if you want to plug a book or a website, or if any of the listeners want to get in touch with you about maybe working with you, if they've got an idea for a book, perhaps.
Oh, yeah. The best search engine we got, man, Google Chancellor K. Jackson. All my social medias will pop up. My website, chancellorkjackson.com, will pop up. Other interviews I've done. So you just Google my name, you'll find me, you'll find my books, which are available on my website and Amazon. Just Google 14 Days in Beijing. I also have the audiobook for 14 Days in Beijing, rolling out just episode by episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, SoundCloud, and YouTube. So, and I'm reading it, so y'all can listen to it. It's a vibe for sure. Any authors out there, tap in with your boy. For sure, we can make it happen.
Awesome. And yeah, thanks again for being a guest. It's been great having you.
Appreciate you, man, for sure.
Chancellor, thank you again so much for taking the time to join me today. Much appreciated, and what a great conversation. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed that as well. If you would like to learn more, if you have a kind of idea for a book almost, and you'd like to discuss that, or if you'd like some help from a coach of authors, then Chancellor is your man. Reach out. I've put his website address and link to his LinkedIn in the episode description so you can find him easily. I'm sure he'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to learn more about leading with integrity, if you'd like to talk to me about leadership, if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, then you can reach out to me as well. Again, I've put the link in the episode description, but it is www.leadernotaboss.co.uk/sign up. That'll take you to a sign up form if you'd like to sign up to the mailing list. If you don't want to sign up to the mailing list, that's no problem. You will also find a contact button at the top of the page. So that'll take you to my contact information and you can reach out from there. And I'd love to hear from you. Always happy to chat to anyone about leadership, as you may have noticed from the podcast. Well, that's it for me today. All I've got time for, I'm afraid. Thanks again for listening. And remember, stay safe and be a leader, not a boss.